Hello, everybody. It's Jamie, and welcome back to yet a live stream. My God, it's been a bloody while, hasn't it, lads or my friends? Jeez, I'm very happy to be here. Last time I checked, last time I did actually a live stream. It was like 1 year ago, so I'm quite nervous, but I'm at the same time quite happy to be back once again in a live stream. It's been too bloody long, and yeah, we are here and we are vibing. So I hope you're all doing good. Um, I'm not here alone. Once again, I'm joined by a very good friend of mine, um, Sean from Review It Yourself. How about we bring him in, eh? Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you, Sean. Here he is.
Hey Jamie, thank you for having me. Well, it's funny, you haven't done a live stream since last year. I've
Yeah,
been for the past year. I've been guesting on a YouTube channel for Doctor Who, The Sense Sphere. Amazing, go check it out. So I've been live streaming as a guest for a year. So this is like,
really.
oh, okay, yeah, another stream. But so no need to be nervous. It's going to be great.
I'm very happy to have you here, and we have already we have already four viewers watching. So everybody in the chat, if you're watching, how is the volume? Can you hear me fine? Can you hear Sean fine? Is all good?
That's better when you pull it towards yourself. Yeah,
Yeah, this is better.
yeah, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So how is the volume? If the volume is okay, if it all is going according to plan for the first time in a live stream, then I'm pretty happy. Uh, just give a thumbs up if it's going well. Um, but we have four people watching. Thank you very much for the stream, and we are here, of course, for one reason, and we are about to review or give our thoughts on this movie right here. Midway, the 2019 version, because there are two versions. One is pretty old, and yeah, we are about to watch the or review the 2019 version. So I sometimes I will look in some direction, which will be my phone, because I have the chat there displayed as well. And we have our first comment, Herman Jarl. Thank you so much for joining. Good to see you. Good to have you in the chat. I'm very glad to have you here. Um, but Sean, before we continue with talking about or giving our thoughts on this review, why don't you introduce yourself? So I will put you on the spot. Tell us, tell us who you are, what you're doing, and yeah, the floor is yours.
Yeah, cheers, mate. So yeah, for anybody watching who sees the split screen, I, for whatever reason, I don't know why I can't put my logo on there. So you're just seeing a black screen. Apologies. I don't know why it won't let me put it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm Sean from Review It Yourself. It's a podcast primarily in English. Well, no, it's in English. I don't know why I said primarily. It's in English. And it's all about films, but it's much more of like a no nonsense look at films. So basically, because there's enough film podcasters out there who say they're amazing and they're really enthusiastic. Just listen to an American podcast about films; they'll love everything. Whereas, I tend to be a bit more discerning. I'm not easily impressed, as no doubt you will see, because this is one of Jamie's favorite films. And spoiler alert for everybody, I wasn't best impressed, but I did enjoy it. So stick around as we like get into it and see what I liked and what I didn't like. Because obviously Jamie's got all the history of this. I do
Yeah,
like I've got a master in history, but my history is more like the British contribution. So more like the war in Europe
yeah,
rather than the Pacific. I don't. It's not that I know. I know bits, but I'm not as like encyclopedic. So obviously Jamie's done all his research. So yeah, thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be on.
well, thank you so much for having for joining me because I've personally, I think, joined your podcast now 4 times, maybe, if I'm correct. Um,
Um,
I think
Off the
so.
top of
Yeah.
my head, I thought it was more than that actually.
Really?
Should I check? Yeah, I'll have a check. I'll have a check. But I thought it was more than that. Although we've done like a bit on mine, a bit on yours. So yeah, let's have a look. How many times has Jamie been on my podcast? Let's find out.
It's
So
been
obviously me and Jamie, we've done a lot of episodes recently. So we did Preview Yourself, which is a little side series that I've got where you look at the trailer for an upcoming program and say, or a film and say, would I watch it based on the trailer?
yeah,
Me and Jamie did. We looked at the trailer and discussed the trailer for Titan, the Ocean Gate submersible disaster, which is the
exactly.
new Netflix documentary about Titan. Now that's gone absolutely crazy. That's the number two. It's almost at number one for my most listened episode, and it's been out like a couple of weeks. The two, and we've also done a full review on that went out on Sunday. So that's Titan, the Ocean Gate submersible disaster part 1 and 2. Those are also, I think, number 15 and 17 of our most all time listened to. So people have really enjoyed them.
Hmm.
But outside of that, we've also done, yeah, you're right, it's only four. I thought it was more than that.
Yeah,
We've also done an amazing film, which was my first Norwegian film, which was,
yeah,
well, that I've reviewed, which was Convoy or The Arctic Convoy.
exactly. Yeah.
And we also did, my God, um, got 2 years ago, Jamie, 2 years ago,
Jeez.
we did The Finest Hours, which is a great film.
That's our first one together.
Yeah, 2 years, mate. We're doing all right.
Excellent, excellent.
What did you get me for our anniversary? Flowers, chocolates,
Well, chocolates with the
disappointment.
with the chocolates with the berry and top. Um, yeah, Herman. Herman is from Norway himself. Herman, the best movies I've seen are by far made in Norway. So except this one, of course, it's American. But uh, some more, there are many which I've enjoyed. But like I said, we are here to give our thoughts about the movie Midway. So I've actually a script which I've sent you as well, Sean. Um, it can be some talk points. You don't have to follow it all along. I mean, you just choose what you want to talk about in the live stream, and we'll go on that. For anybody in the chat, if you have any questions about this movie, if you have a question for me, if you have a question for Sean, please feel free to ask. Um, that will be lovely, and I'm very looking forward to having the stream. So a quick historical segment of the movie Midway. I will read the following. The Battle of Midway took place 6 months after the devastating attack on Pearl Harbor, as Japan fought to eliminate the US Pacific Fleet and gain control of Midway Atoll. Japan's strategy was to draw the US into a trap with the goal of capturing Midway, destroying American aircraft carriers, and solidifying their defensive perimeter in the Pacific. However, thanks to the efforts of US codebreakers who had cracked the Japanese communication codes, the US was aware of the attack before it even began. Under the leadership of Admiral Chester Nimitz, the US Navy was able to prepare a counter-offensive with three aircraft carriers, the USS Enterprise, the USS Hornet, and hastily repaired the USS Yorktown. They would play pivotal roles in the American response. On June 4th, 1942, American dive bombers launched a surprise attack on the Japanese aircraft carriers, and I will butcher the names, but I don't think, or don't hope, I hope I won't. Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu. While the decks were crowded with fueled aircraft, this attack led to the sinking of all four carriers, shifting the momentum in the Pacific War. The US did lose the US did lose the USS Yorktown, but the victory at Midway halted Japanese expansion and set the stage for a turning tide in the favor of the Allies. So if we quickly go over the film overview, it dramatizes the events of this historic battle. Before I get into more of the specifics, my God, you can hear it's been a long time since I streamed. I'm getting all nervous. Let's play the trailer. So, Sean, are you ready to watch the trailer with me?
Yeah, why not? Go for it. Go for it.
So, poor guy Sean, he's been talking so much on his podcast. Oh, that's not the right scene. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I am losing my voice. Apologies to everybody. I don't usually sound this gruff usually.
Yeah,
Yeah, but no. And also, I've got that classic English under enthusiasm. Like, you're not going to
exactly.
get like, oh my God, this is the most amazing film ever, man. You're not getting that with the English. Unfortunately, it's not our bread and butter.
Exactly. So, for some reason, my green screen went away. Give me one small second, guys. It always happens when you're streaming, right? It's glorious. Lovely, lovely, jubbly. But where is it? I had a scene, Midway logo. Now you can see the green screen. By the way, maybe you will love this green screen. Where is it? Yeah, there we go.
So for
Let's use this for
well,
now until we have seen the trailer. So here we are. The trailer for Midway. And if there are any problems with the volume, please let me know in the chat. But let's watch.
There's this kid. He didn't think he could cut it. I figured it was just the usual jitters. I take him under my wing. He was right to be scared.
Pearl Harbor is the greatest intelligence failure in American history.
This can never happen again. I want to make it right.
At least some of the boys still want to fight.
The Japanese are planning something bigger.
So what's the target?
We believe it's Midway.
Washington disagrees.
Washington is wrong.
If we lose, then Japanese own the West Coast. Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles will burn.
yeah, we know what you mean.
We got the order to launch! We need to throw a punch so they know what it feels like to be hit.
We're talking about a couple dozen planes against a whole Japanese fleet. This isn't a fair fight. I don't know how to lead these men.
They'll follow you anywhere.
If you know that you came through when people are counting on you, you'll be able to face anything.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, Midway.
It is. If I could sum this word up in one sentence, it would be, quote, so American it hurts.
So
Like, it is, even in that trailer, it's not a bad film. Like, get over the first 20 minutes of really, really bad dialogue, and it's a decent watch. You get really drawn into it. It's nice to see like this lesser Pacific side of the war be shown. Of course, we've already had the Pacific in
yeah,
2010, I think, which was great. But it's nice to see it's quite a throwback to kind of the old fashioned, movies where they were very patriotic and, it's American. So it's all very yeehaw. But the problem is it's, as you've seen from like the trailer, when the trailer, as Herman said, screams over dramatized American war film. It is. I mean, there's some lines in here that are just absolutely awful. I mean, like, there's literally a bit at the beginning when Pearl Harbor gets attacked, and I'll get back to Pearl Harbor in a minute. And the main character, the guy from The Conjuring, I can never remember his name. He plays the intelligence officer. I can never ever remember his name. You'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
He walks into the room and a guy literally stops and goes, hey, everybody, audience, sorry, everybody. This is the guy that tried to warn us. This guy right here, this guy. Did you get that? Did you get this guy trying to warn us? And it's like, oh my God, like it's like the perfect example of like all these great, there's some great actors in here, there really is. And
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid, Aaron Eckhart. There's also what's his name, Lewis, a Welsh fella. He's really good. Anyway, I'll get back to it. There's some like amazing actors in here, but they're struggling to get out from behind a tell don't show script. You know, because it's interesting to see like the aftermath of Pearl Harbor and kind of the internal politics of the Japanese armed forces, which is a bit paint by numbers, but apparently that's kind of what it was like. The different factions didn't like each other, very much like the National Socialist German side of things. They were at each other's throats as well. It wasn't like the Allies where there was this unified push of everybody to coordinate. It didn't exist. But again, I mean, and also like I don't know about you, Jamie. Sorry, I'm taking over here, mate. I don't know about you, but characters get angry or shouty or cheer. That's about it. There's very little like ever anything else in this. I don't know what you think.
Look, in a movie, there's always going to be mistakes. There will be some historical inaccuracies. I've got them here as well on one side of the paper, which I will go quickly over because it's quite interesting. What the accuracies and inaccuracies are. And like many of you guys say in the chat, like it's and like you say clearly, it's an over dramatized American film. There's lots of booming, lots of action. Personally, I don't mind that.
No, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. And in some ways, it feels. Don't get me wrong. After the first half an hour, and it's a 2 hour odd film,
Yeah.
I was really with it. It
Yeah.
tries to do a lot, but because I love Roland Emmerich films. I love 2012. I love The Day After Tomorrow. I love those films.
Mhm.
Independence Day, love them.
Mhm.
And he's very good at having a lot of players, and he follows them well. Like there's a lot of characters, and at a certain point, I was thinking you should be losing track, but I never lost track of what everyone was doing. It's just the script needed work. But to be fair, it feels very much, and this isn't an excuse for it, it's not, but it feels very much like a throwback. If this should have come out like the mid 90s or something, obviously it would have had a lot more. It wouldn't have had as much CGI, but it was quite immersive at times. I did enjoy it.
Mhm.
You know, it is worth a watch. I didn't know this was Emmerich till you said, oh, it's. So I looked and was like, oh my god, it's Emmerich. Why did I miss this? So that kind of sold me on it. So it's it's interesting. And there's a lot of good actors. Luke Evans, that's the guy's name. He's the one next to, with the tash at the bottom. He's Welsh, really good actor. But it is well worth a watch. It really is. It's just it's not going to stay long in your memory. But it's one of those things. Like when I finished watching it, my dad said, "Oh, what was the film like?" Because my dad loves films, and I said, "Oh, yeah, it wasn't too bad." And I said, "Oh, it's the lad's who I'm podcasting with. It's his favorite film."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, you can't account for like different people's." I mean, Jamie, I love Batman and Robin, and we all know how good that is.
Personally, I haven't seen it.
I forget you're a baby. I forget you're young.
But one thing I did like about the movie though is with the attack of Pearl Harbor, it gets you straight into the scene though. If you know what I mean, it gets you hooked in.
Yeah.
However, there is I thought when I first saw this, because I'm not a naval historian, right? I'm not even an historian. I'm just a ocean liner enthusiast, as many people say. So I don't claim to be an historian at all. Um, but when I saw the first scene of the Pearl Harbor movie, I was like, "Well, this is excellent. These are all historical accurate ships. Um, this is so well done with the CGI and all of that." Which, when it comes to CGI, it's pretty well done. But then I came across the YouTube video from Dragif Infel. I hope I say this name correctly. I will quickly show his channel on the screen for just 2 seconds. Yes, so let's see. Where's the? Can you all see? Can you all see? Let's see. No. Let's do this for 1 second. Let's go to this scene right here. Yeah, here we go. So I came across the channel of this lovely gentleman, Dragifel, and he made a video about attacking Pearl Harbor. Who did it better? Basically, he goes over the movie like Pearl Harbor itself and Midway. And basically, what he said in the movie was, or in his video, what he said was that in the movie Midway, it seemed that there were two teams. One who cared about historical accuracy, and one who didn't, basically. Because what they did in the movies Midway with the Attack on Pearl Harbor segment, they basically copy and pasted one battleship, and they placed them in Battleship Row, and basically all of Battleship Row in Midway was wrong, which I found quite quite sad, because it was one of my I wouldn't say favorite scenes, because that sounds wrong, of course, of all those people dying. But it got me hooked into the movie. I don't know about you, Sean. What do you think of the Midway or Pearl Harbor scene? How do you think they executed it?
I mean, well, see, this is where, and it's no criticism because you can't help when you're born. But it's the same with me. But like my generation's Pearl Harbor film is Pearl Harbor, the 2001 Michael Bay film, which is very much trying to be Titanic, but it, you know, there was a lot of practical in there. Not as much practical as in, you know, Tora, which I watched recently and is a good film, you know, with models work. But, you know, then you have this, there's a lot of CGI, but for me, it's less the CGI and more, I don't watch a film and like nitpick it. Like because let's be honest, there's, you know, Jamie, probably more than me, you can't just go out there and go, I want a World War II battleship, I want a World War II destroyer, I want a Cold War era minesweeper. They don't exist, mostly. So you've got to either use other ships and disguise them as that.
Exactly.
You've just got to.
Exactly.
So it doesn't bother me as such.
I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to have the Midway logo in the screen, but I'm pressing all kinds of bad buttons. So I'm sorry. But again, this is my first time streaming since a year. So I need to relearn all these buttons. But something that you said as well with the script, Sean, which I have with the script of the movie, is something as well that was in a reception of the movie. Whilst the film received praise for its stunning visual effects and adherence to historical events, there were some critiques noted, which include flaws in character development, as you said, and dialogue. Despite these critiques, however, the film was achieved by moderate success at the box office. So,
yeah,
again, like you say,
I mean,
the reception.
It's one of those films where if it was a bunch of unknowns, you'd never ever, you wouldn't like, it'd be even worse. It's like one of those films, where you watch a film and it's like you only know who the characters are because it's like, oh, there's Dennis Quaid, who's he playing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's the guy from The Conjuring, who's he playing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's Aaron Eckhart as Doolittle, who Oh, there's Luke Kleintank, who I was convinced, excuse me, who I was convinced was Jonathan Groff from Mindhunter, because he looks so much like a younger Jonathan Groff. It's
Exactly.
frightening. But it's like, for me, it's a film that seemingly wanted to show everything,
Exactly.
and for me, it should have focused on less.
Well,
Less is more.
I got the impression with this movie that there wasn't much time, and they tried to include, like you said, as much as possible. Which is sometimes some battles felt rushed, which is a shame, because then, of course, when you rush things, you make mistakes, which I thought was a shame. But yeah. So, should we go about some of the casts, Sean?
Yep, go for it. Yep, go for it.
Because when we talk about the cast, because all of these people, of course, are historically accurate. These are the stories of this is history. So all the people in these movies were real people. Ed Skrein played as Lieutenant Richard Dick Best, one of the main characters we get to know in this movie. Patrick Wilson plays as Rear Admiral Edwin T. Layton.
Patrick Wilson, that's his name.
Patrick Wilson, yes. Woody Harrelson plays as Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, who also played Woody also played in the movies with the latest one, I think, with Venom. Right, he was Carnage in that movie.
I'm not up with Marvel.
No,
He's
yeah,
in 2012 as the crazy kind of the guy at Yellowstone.
exactly.
So
Luke Evans, he plays as Commander Wade McCluskey.
yep,
Dennis
Luke
Quaid.
Evans. I've got
Sorry,
I've
go
got a
ahead.
recommendation for a series with him.
Hmm.
He's a good character actor, Luke Evans. He did a series. It's available on Netflix now. This is UK, so I don't know if it's Europe.
Yeah.
As me and Jamie found out, they sometimes have different ones on. But
Hmm.
the Pembrokeshire Murders, it's called. Really
I
good
see.
series, well worth a watch if you're into that kind of series.
And Dennis Quaid, I hope I said his name correctly. He plays as Vice Admiral William Bull
Quaid,
Quid, sorry,
sorry.
as Vice Admiral William Bull Halsey. He recently also did an excellent series, which is called Happy Face. That's, I think, one of his most recent projects.
Oh, Jamie, he's done all sorts. I mean, if you want just for a few of my
Very good
recommendations, it's
actor.
a very, very good actor. The Parent Trap, 1998,
Mm,
classic. He's also in Frequency, 1999, Jim Caviezel, a twisty, time traveling father and son film. Amazing film.
mm,
Amazing.
mm.
He's also in a really unknown film. Well, it wasn't unknown at the time. Pandorum, 2008. It came out. It's about getting lost in space. Really, really good. Quite gruesome at times. Really good film. But he's in all sorts, all sorts.
Aaron Eckhart plays as Lieutenant Commander Jimmy Doolittle, who
I
was the
believe in Harvey Dent.
yeah Harry. He was Harry Dent, right? I
And he's
wasn't
also
sure.
in the car. He's in the car and he's in Battle Los Angeles, which I
I
love.
see.
I've got a review coming out on that.
Nick Jonas plays as aviation mechanist Bruno Kaido. Well, Nick Jonas, does he need an introduction? He's also a singer.
Well,
Many people
yeah.
know him, so he doesn't need an introduction, I feel.
I suppose it depends on your generation, Jamie. It's
Yeah,
like when Harry Styles was in Dunkirk, and
true, true.
Christopher
Yes.
Nolan, like auditions thousands of like young men,
Mm,
and he picks him, and then only finds out who he is when his daughter sees the photo and goes, "Dad, do you know who that is?" So it's quite funny, isn't it?
indeed. And many more plays as the wife of Dick Best, Anne Best. Those are the main roles in this movie, and of course there are many more extras.
Jake
but
Weber, of course. Jake Weber's in it as well.
yeah, exactly. But there's so many memes with such a large movie that we didn't fit them all in this overview. But the plot summary of this actual movie is the film captures the critical moments of the Pacific theater, spanning from pre-World War II tensions to the aftermath of Midway. It focuses on the U.S. strategists like Admiral Nimitz and pivotal pilots such as L. Dick Best and Commander Wade McCloskey. The film portrays the high stakes aerial assaults that led to the destruction of the Japanese fleet and highlights the American victory as a crucial turning point into the war. There you go, Sean.
In brackets, in the Pacific. Not the war in general, in the Pacific. Well, of course, the war in general, but of course,
Yeah.
they've got to make it seem like the Americans won everything because that's kind of what they're doing.
And many people as well believe that the war was actually. Here we go again with the bloody green screen. I need to. These scenes, man. God. Many people as well believe that with the Battle of Midway, if we talk historical accuracy, that the entire Japanese fleet was demolished. Well, that isn't actually true. But
it's not true, but I think they were effectively.
Yeah.
The threat was neutralized. I think that's the big. It's a bit like the Battle of Jutland in World War One.
Mm-hmm.
After which the German Navy are all but useless. That's a good comparison, I think,
Exactly.
with this. Like the Japanese Navy's still there, but they are pretty much useless.
Exactly. So Sean, before I move over to actually the part of the accuracies and inaccuracies, how would you want to do this? Would you like that we first go over our favorite scenes, or would you first like to go of the accuracies and inaccuracies? I'll leave that to you.
Let's go for the inaccuracies. Jesus, I can't say it now. Inaccuracies, accuracies.
So I'll start with the accuracies in the movie. So, of course, the Battle of Midway, the depiction of the battle itself, the timing of the attacks, and the importance of Midway Atoll, they are accurate. That's one thing they first got right. The US codebreakers role, the portrayal of US intelligence, especially the role of Joseph Rockefort in deciphering Japanese codes, is faithful to history. Like that. Sorry, I'm reading the chat as well. There's somebody very special in the chat for me right now, Peter. Peter, I can't say your last name. I'm sorry, but I'm very thankful to have you here.
Migliorini.
Yes, I'm very thankful to have you here, Peter. Peter actually gave me a very nice package with all kinds of memorabilia from his family when it comes to his ancestry. Oh, wait, no. Let me say it again. He gave me a very nice package of memorabilia from his family when they were in service of World War II and when they were on passenger vessels. So he says, this film is badly sensationalizing the role of the U.S. Navy. I can see.
I mean, Peter, it's a good film. Not this one. I mean, if you want to talk about sensationalizing the U.S. Navy's role in something, how about the 2000 film U-571 with Matthew McConaughey, where they show the U.S. Navy capturing an Enigma, which never happened. It was the British and the Allies. But let's not get into that. It's a good film, actually. It's a good action film, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's something that of course that is going to happen. I mean, and like I've got to be honest. The first scene, as ever, they slag off the English. Always happens in these films. Always happens. I didn't write it down because I was just like, oh, typical. But they always have something in there to like. It's like it's you've been at war for 2 years by this point, but the British, but it's always going to happen.
I get what you mean though, Peter. Of course, this movie, like you say, depicts very much the how the U.S. Navy is good, and it's a kind of propaganda film. Would you agree, Sean? Showcasing, of course, how the U.S. Navy is mighty and stuff like that, and it can't be broken down.
I mean, I think it depends what you mean by propaganda. Because it's like propaganda in terms of a National Socialist German way is not going to be the same as like it's like saying is Black Hawk Down propaganda or is Simper Ryan propaganda. I think American films love to show, like, mind you, so do the British films. We always have, Zulu or what's the film with Kirk Douglas in it where is it set in Norway? Oh, what's it called? We're trying to stop the Germans getting nuclear weapons. Heroes of Telemark. It's like films like that. We're always The Great Escape. Although The Great Escape massively over exaggerates the Americans in it. I think there was like 3 Americans in the whole camp. But yeah, it's kind of always going to kind of happen, isn't it? I think I wouldn't call it propaganda. I just think if you want to sell it at home in America, you'll pick something that kind of holds up what America have done and might play down the other contributors. But then again, I mean, it's like the British war films, like England stands alone with her empire, but stands alone with the Dominions. No, stands alone. So it's that you've always got to temper it with not that makes the stand or the sacrifices any less. It just there's always a different way to look at things, I think. But Americans, I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but American audiences love that. They kind of love that kind of that upbeat ending. Whereas I don't know about Europeans, but the Brits, we love a depressing ending. Like Von Ryan's Express, when he gets shot at the end, spoilers. Like, we love a downbeat ending. We love it. Love a bit of tragedy in films in general. Do you think it's propaganda?
I get where Peter is coming from in the comments. I get his. I felt the same way when I'm watching the movie. I get your feeling, Peter. So let's go to the next accuracy in the movie. The sinking of the Japanese carriers. The movie correctly shows the attack on the Japanese carriers Akagi, Kaga, Soroyu, and Hiroyu, leading to their destruction. I'm sorry again if I butchered that name completely. But that the destruction, of course, of the carriers plays out in the final part of the movie. The main battle, as it were. Peter, don't need. There's no reason at all to say sorry. All opinions are welcome. So that's why I love having or having these live streams and talking and even debating about movies like this, because there are many people, of course, who watched it. Some people liked it, some people don't.
That's what I love about films. Because that's what I love about films. Like, one film that speaks to you
exactly
means nothing to anybody else. Means nothing to somebody else.
Well, I wouldn't say nothing, but I mean, maybe means less to somebody else, or maybe he didn't enjoy it. But again, this is why I love these review live streams, that we can debate about the movie, talk about the movie, talk about things we liked, talk things what we didn't like. So geek out about the movie. So please, Peter, no need to apologize and anything. It's good to have you here in the chat. The role of American pilots, all another accuracy. The film my God, when I'm doing live streams, I'm always nervous. So forgive me if I'm not saying it correctly. But it portrays the tactics and the heroics of real-life pilots, including Lieutenant Dick Best and Commander Wade McCluskey. In the final section of the movie, of course, it can be done, of course, with an epic effect. But how he went on those carriers and being bold in the way of attacking them, I don't know, of course, and we don't know, of course, if that happened accurately, like that happened in final. Well, I'm losing words, but I will show you guys. Sean, entertain them, Sean.
I would, but I'm losing my voice. No, I'm good.
Final
I
battle.
think for me, there's well, I'm gonna have to have a rest. I think for me, there's I do think it's quite accurate for the way they kind of dive bombed the Japanese carriers. I mean, you get to a point in the film where you kind of there's a lot of CGI, but it's not bad. It really isn't. So you do get quite immersed in it, and you are thinking this must have been horrendous to have to go through that. I mean, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but my favorite scene is depressing as hell, but it's where the main guy, he basically has a young lad who basically freezes in like the briefing room of the ship and says like, I can't do this, like I'm not up to this.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, you are up to this. Like you're going to be my wingman. Basically, I'll take you under my wing, quite literally. And what happens is they're taking off. The ship's not moving fast enough, which means you can't get enough airflow. So, he barely takes off. He like skims the sea, and he tries desperately to tell the young pilot behind him, like, stop, but he can't do anything.
Exactly.
And he takes off. He hits the water, and the ship just runs him over.
Yes.
And he gets killed. And that was like probably the only bit where there's any kind of emotion in it. Although the character's just appeared, you see like the effect it has and how like negative it becomes. So I that was probably my favorite scene because they did try and weave in, a bit of emotion here and there, but it is very much cardboard cutout, or cartoons would be harsh, but it is very much characters doing things, but at the same time, like you feel like but it's a film. As accurate as it would be to have them just be like, right, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. We're not given an awful lot of time to get to know many of them, so you don't really care when some of them die, like you do when some others. Obviously, I'm not talking flippantly because a lot of these people are real, but in terms of a movie experience or a film experience, you don't get the chance to really care for a lot of them because the film is doing that many different things that what falls by the wayside, which often does in modern films, is the characterization, the little moments with the characters where you kind of you get to know them and you get ingratiated with them and you find out, who they're fighting for, who's at home, is the mum sick, stuff like that. We don't really get a lot of that. I don't think we get much of that in here at all. No. So really, you're kind of along for the ride, but your emotions, you're not really invested. That's just me anyway.
As well as I'm reading the chat again. Peter says one of my favorite, or he loved the Norwegian film, The King's Choice. Peter, I'm very happy you're saying that. Personally, I love Norwegian films. I absolutely love Norwegian films, and The King's Choice is one of my favorite Norwegian films. What an amazing story! Talks about King Haakon during World War II. Which is...
no, it is. I've not had a chance to watch it yet, but I'm just looking at Herman's other comment.
Watch The King's Choice.
Yeah, you recommended it to me.
Oh my god! If you loved the movie Convoy, you're gonna love the movie The King's Choice. What a brilliant movie! It depicts as well the sinking of the German battleship Blücher in the beginning. The soundtrack of The King's Choice is such an amazing soundtrack. Yeah. Sometimes I'm going to turn away. I'm going to turn away from this review for 1 second. But the soundtrack of The King's Choice, when I'm sometimes in the shower and taking a shower, I play the soundtrack of The King's Choice in the morning because it's such a lovely, calm soundtrack. It's brilliant. It's actually brilliant.
Herman said that a new film, Blue, is coming
Yeah,
out next
Blucher.
year. It should
I've
be
seen
pretty
the
cool.
trailer, Herman. I've seen it, and I can't wait for it. But Herman, I don't know if you would know, but it says it will play in September. But will it only play? Will it actually release in over the entire world in September, or will it premiere in Norway? Because the text was in Norway, and of course I um, don't understand Norwegian. Quick side note, guys. I'm now talking with a Yeti microphone, which is a very good microphone. But my battery of my laptop is decreasing slowly, so I will maybe need to change later on to a different microphone. So I might cut out for 1 second. I hope the stream will recatch itself.
Do you want me to
Uh,
just? I've got lots to talk about. If you
well,
want to step away for a second.
if my battery runs out, I will let you. Whilst I fix microphones, I will uh, point the room to you for 1 second. Peter says, "Agree, Jamie.
Cool.
It's a great film. I don't believe that Midway 2019 was a good film at all." I understand, Peter. I understand.
Herman said earlier that about war being once being like two-sided, but films are one-sided. And he also said, imagine how the Germans feel. They have very little war films to focus on their veterans. This is true for the Second World War for obvious reasons. A lot of them weren't good people and did very bad things. So you're not going to empathize with those. There are a few though. Obviously, I think you mentioned earlier, Herman, but there's Das Boot, amazing, probably one of the best naval films ever. You've also got Stalingrad, which is a 1980s film, very much in the same feel. It's got Thomas Kretschmann, who was in The Pianist. He's in
Guys,
Valkyrie.
Sorry for interjecting, but bear with me, guys, when I'm doing this. But I want to quickly, of course, show my face as well. But my green screen is not playing along with me today. So I'm sorry if you're watching. No background. Very unprofessional, I know. But things like this happen. There we go. There we are. Continue, Sean. I'm sorry.
It's all right, mate. It's all right. See, I do a podcast, so I have the luxury of just being able to talk, and I don't have to care. I don't care about what it looks like. That's the beauty. Beauty and a curse, different. Yeah, okay. So there's the Stalingrad, there's Das Boot, but you want to talk about if you go back to World War One for the Germans and films, you do get now. There's the original 1930 film, All Quiet on the Western Front. Investem Nick Noyce. I don't do German, so apologies. There's also the 1970, 76, something like that version. But I tell you what, there's the 2022 version by Peter Berg, I believe. I think it's Peter Berg. I hope it is. That's on Netflix. That was made in Prague, in the Czech Republic. It's made by the German director, the first ever German helmed adaptation of the novel, and it is absolutely incredible film. Probably I think the best film I saw that year. So if you haven't seen that, watch it in the. Obviously, I don't know what it's like around the. Sorry, Herman, I don't know if you're German. I don't know. If you don't understand German, watch it with the subtitles. Do not watch the dubbed, because the dubbed are always dreadful. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I think the Germans are a bit different in terms of films. I don't know, it's just a bit harsh to say. If you've won a war, you hold it up. If you've lost a war, you tend not to mention it so much. It doesn't become such a cornerstone of your being, if you will.
Peter, if you said with the that you didn't like Midway, if you could maybe, Peter, if you could write the main points what you didn't like about this movie, because I would love to hear your opinion.
Everything.
No, the thing for me personally is I see what you guys are coming from, but of course I'm 23. I'm not an historical. I was born, I think, in the time of CGI. So when I saw it, I found it was quite interesting. But I agree with you, Peter. It's not. It's one of my, I would say, not top favorite movies, but it's a movie I would like to rewatch sometimes when I'm home alone and I want to see some good ship action. But please, Peter, let me know what you didn't like. I would love to hear your opinion, as I value your opinion, Peter, very much. However, one scene I want to go over, which is, I think, Hollywood at its best. So I won't. I hope I won't be copyright stuck, but it's the scene here. Sean, can you see it? What I mean? Are you there, Sean?
I mean, sorry, I can't
sorry.
see it on this. But...
So this is in the part where they attack the Japanese.
Oh yeah, I can see it on. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, where they attacked shortly after the Japanese after the attack at Pearl Harbor. This scene plays mainly at the Americans' first time getting against the Japanese. But there's the scene here where the Japanese bombers, they go and want to strike the aircraft carrier. And of course, the Japanese bombers get shot down or they get chased away. I want to play a particular scene here. Yes, right here. So as you can clearly see, the Japanese bombers, they mainly moved away, but there's one Japanese bomber who wants to kamikaze himself. And Jonas, the actor Jonas, he shoots him down. I will stop playing. I will let you watch the scene in peace because I'm watching. Oh god. Right, so here.
He's turning himself into a bomb.
I tried to look in books in my naval books if there were actually scenes like that happening, and I haven't found an account of that extent at all. So it makes me doubt.
I'd read. No, I thought, I'm pretty sure I read this happened, and that he got promoted directly afterwards. Not like in the film. He went and hid apparently, something like that. Then got found and was told, like, you've been promoted, like a battlefield commission, if you will.
Yeah.
But I do think this happens. But again, it's like, it's a good scene, but it's just spoilt by the god awful lines. Like, they feel the need to explain everything. Like the Americans, like, he's turning himself into a bomb. It's like, no, Sherlock. Like, we know. Like, it doesn't take a genius. Don't need Poirot to work this one out. Yeah. And I don't know at this point in the war if the Japanese, anybody in the chat who knows, or Jamie, if you know, I thought the Japanese only started to do kamikaze in like the last couple of years when they were really. I don't know, because I don't know in the real case whether the plane had been shot and they weren't able to move away and they weren't able to miss the ship. Whereas in the film, though, they had them shouting and very much. So I don't know if kamikaze was this early in the war, but I don't know.
Exactly right. Peter says, you're most kind, but Sean is correct. The entire movie is silly and is again, and as I wait, let me read again. Sean, my God, Sean, Peter. Peter says you're most kind, but Sean is correct. The entire movie is silly, and as I age, I cannot watch old American TV shows like Combat because it makes villains of people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh God, yeah! There's the scene afterwards where he walks in, and Dennis Quaid's character is just like, "That's about the bravest thing I've ever seen," and you're like, "Oh my God!" Like
you're being promoted now to you're being promoted now to shooter first class.
Apparently true, but like, just once, just try a little bit of decorum. Just like, try a little bit of understatement. Just, a little bit of reverence for once. Like, it's just so. I don't know what the Americans. I don't think there's any Americans here in the chat. If there is, holler. I don't. I wasn't taking the mic, but just say it. But for me, it's like it feels so like if this was an English version, it would be like, oh, chipper chipper, what? He was out for a wicket. It's that kind of horrendously stereotypical. Like, oh no, what is this? I wonder if that's how it feels to the Americans, that they're just like, oh god. I mean, although it wouldn't kill them to be, a bit more patriotic nowadays, but I kind of get. Anyway, so yeah, it's one of those films you're getting into it, and then you get a line like that rips you right back out.
We haven't been copyrighted struck yet, so I played it, screen that title. I was like, oh god, I'm preparing myself, but we are good. We are still here. We are thriving. So Sean, I will now move to the inaccuracies. So the timing of the Doolittle raid. The film suggests that the Doolittle raid directly led into the Battle of Midway, but in reality, the raid occurred months earlier in April 1942. The famous scene where they're talking about the planes.
See, have you seen Pearl Harbor, Jamie? That's got to be a no.
With the actor who plays Batman as well, right?
Ben Affleck. Oh God, you're so young. Yeah, Ben Affleck and Ben Affleck and
I'm
Josh Hartnett, Kate
23.
Beckinsale. I know. I forget you were like, I don't know what. Hang on, 20. Yeah, so you were born the year after it came out? Okay, yeah, that's fair. But no, when you watch Pearl Harbor, there's an awful lot of similarities in this film.
Yeah.
Of different scenes. There's even in Pearl Harbor. There's a bit about the guy. And it's Dan Aykroyd from Ghostbusters, believe it or not. I don't know if he plays the same guy as Patrick Wilson in this, but I'm pretty sure it's tantamount the same. He tries to warn him and they ignore him. And then we follow Kimmel. He's the fella. Oh, you'd know his face. He was in. I can't remember his name. Anyway, so you've got a lot of the same people. Well, obviously the same real people.
Yeah.
But it's very, very similar. But Pearl Harbor's not perfect. It's a bit rom-commy. Well, it is a bit like a romance story. It's very long. It's getting on for 3 hours. It's very in the Titanic mold of a film. It's not a bad thing. But what it does have, it's got an awful lot more aerial scenes with real planes. The Pearl Harbor scenes were done with real ships, real planes, real Japanese Zeros, real Japanese, was it Kates? Real American planes. You've got a Battle of Britain sequence. Now, which is CGI, right? Most of it.
Huh.
I'm going to let you in on a dirty little secret because this is quite controversial to say because it's not very. The historical accuracy is not great. There was an American squadron in the.
You mean?
Yeah, there was an American squadron where in the RAF, the Royal Air Force of Britain, where you could fight, but it's not like shown in the film. You couldn't just leave their United States Army Air Force and come and join ours, like Ben Affleck does. But there's a scene in that, a couple of scenes where they have Battle of Britain fight scenes between Hurricanes, Spitfires, the German bombers, and it's CGI for the most part, but it's filmed. It's very Michael Bay, but it's filmed in this kind of dirty, gritty, cold. Like the scene, those are the best scenes of the film for me. And as sacrilegious as it is to say, because I know the 1969 Battle of Britain is a classic, and assembled like the 14th biggest air force at the time when they made it, something mental like that. I would love to see a full film about the Battle of Britain like that. Now, I know how that sounds, but I love it. So you need to watch that film. We need to do it. That's got the Doolittle raid in it as well. It's probably less historically accurate because it kind of takes a couple of characters and you follow them all the way through.
Yeah.
But you get Go on, mate.
My laptop is running out of juice. I'm gonna give you the room for just 2 seconds whilst I reset my microphone. So can I mute myself?
Can he mute? Can he mute or is he here?
Right.
Jamie's. You go for it.
Yeah. I will give you the room. Enjoy the glorious black screen of Sean. I will be back.
All right, okay. So I can still see him. So Peter in the chat has said the Doolittle raid simply shocked the Japanese, who never expected air raids on their island nation. That is why the Japanese wanted a sea battle to destroy the US fleet. Yeah, pretty much. As we know from Pearl Harbor, if they'd have had that third wave of fighters and destroyed the oil, they weren't refineries, but the oil storage that they had on Pearl Harbor, that would have knocked the Americans out for a lot longer. I'm not, it's not a whole the Japanese would have won, but it really would have crippled the Americans, I think, for the most part, for a long time. The Doolittle raid, you're right, it shocks the Japanese. It's a little bit like what happens in National Socialist Germany, where Hermann Goering says something along the lines of, if there's ever a bomber over Berlin, you can call me mayor, which is a little bit like, it's difficult to describe if not, I mean, I'm not German, but it's a little bit like saying, if bombers ever fly over London, you could call me Daisy. It's very like a really silly thing to do. So there's kind of that whole thing there.
I'm
Dunkirk.
Back. Can I be heard?
Are you back?
Good.
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know about anybody
excellent.
else.
Yes, my MacBook survived.
Yeah, we're live.
So, Sean says Dunkirk was also a great film, and not saying just to be nice. Do you mean the Christopher Nolan Dunkirk, Peter?
Oh, the original.
Or the original?
Is it 53? Is it 50, 56? So like the one with Mills in it.
If we are talking about 1 second more, the Doolittle, say what you want about the Midway movie, but they're clearly here, as you can see in the screen, depict, of course, as well the scene of the planes on the aircraft carrier, and my God, they had some iron on them.
Again, Jamie.
Yeah.
Because this is all CGI, it doesn't quite have the impact. Like when you watch Pearl Harbor, they do. I mean, they don't do it over the sea, but they do it for real, with like real planes. So it's and they show the training of how difficult it was to do. So this film for me, like, it feels like a film where you've got to know a bit of the history.
Yeah.
But if you like this film, you'll love Pearl Harbor. I don't know what you'll think of the schmaltzy bits, but it is. It is. Yeah, he said. Peter said no. The Nolan one.
I have seen the scene where the Batman actor gets his girlfriend stolen because they dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not stolen as such. You need to. You can need to watch it because it's played out over a lot more months. He's missing for months and months and months, which happened like there's one thing that the British RAF wasn't very good at, which the Germans were surprisingly better at, was air-sea rescue. If you were shot down over the channel and you were British or, a part of the RAF, whether you were in the Czechoslovak squadron, any of the squadrons that we had of all different people from different countries, bombers, crews from South Africa, all over the shop. If you went down in the channel or the sea, you were very unlikely to be found before you died of hypothermia or you died.
Yeah.
If you were German or fighting for them, Italians, Romanians, etc., you had much better chance of being found. Frankly,
Mr. Golden V says George Clooney is the real Batman, and that's a fact, Mr. Golden.
He is.
He is. However, Herman, he raises a very good point. However, in films like Saving... Wait, one comment back, sorry. Herman says, as soon as you claim to tell a true story, your film immediately are imminent for critique. That is exactly true. I don't know if they said whilst making this movie, like, this is the main movie of Midway, or this is the best movie. I don't think they claim that. But of course, when you're talking about or making an historical movie, people will have critique about it because they know the main story, right? They've been studying the story for years. I think if we watch a new movie of the RMS Titanic, right? Like we did, for example, with our review we did, Sean, with the 2012 movie or series,
Yeah.
the 2012
Mhm.
series.
Yeah.
They said that that was the how would you say, the best new documentary or series about the Titanic. Well, it plainly was not.
Yeah. Well,
But
they built it up.
they built it up. Um, but that's because we, of course, have studied the Titanic for many years. We've read the books, we've read articles, we've watched many documentaries. Um, however, Herman, in a follow-up comment, says, however, in films like Saving Private Ryan, it's not based on anything specific other than stories during World War II. And here's the important part, which, in my opinion, makes it easier for the public to believe and immerse themselves. Even though this movie is not historically accurate and there are inaccuracies, what it mainly did for me is it got me into the story of Midway, and it got me to buy books about the Battle of Midway. It got me to buy books about Pearl Harbor, and it got me to study the actual sea battle. And then, of course, like many of you guys in the chat say, um, there will be some inaccuracies because you've studied the book. But I think what this movie does very well is draw the people into the story. And I think that that is the main, because whilst I'm in this stream with you talking and you all are all sharing your different points and opinions, it made me see, like, oh yeah, there are some factors in this movie that are clearly wrong. I think the
It
main important.
depends how you look at it though, because I've got a great example for this because I was having this chat the other day with a
Yeah,
bloke at work. Now
yeah.
about a film which is nautical, it's not war, but it's not. Speaking of George Clooney and
Mm,
Mark Wahlberg's in it,
mm-hmm,
have you seen The Perfect Storm? It's a bit like The Perfect Storm.
mm-hmm.
Have you? It's probably before your time. Have you seen it, Jamie? Or
Before my time, like you say.
no? It's okay. Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, so The Perfect Storm. It's based on a 1991, which is before my time. I think 91 or 93, early 90s. Sure, it's 91. Anyway,
Mm,
it's a storm they had in America. Sorry, off America. These two storm systems, it happened, collided, created the perfect storm. It follows a shipping boat, the Andrea Gale, that George Clooney is captaining, that went missing. Now, the discussion me and my colleague had was, I love that film, and if you haven't seen it, Jamie, you're going to come on my channel and review that, so I'll write that down. The big issue is, halfway through the film, they lose communications. Now, I won't spoil the rest of the film. I won't, because I don't want to. But what happens from that point onwards is complete and utter conjecture, estimations, guesstimations. It's just guesswork because it's guesswork. Because there's no one there to tell the story. My colleague didn't like that because he was like, it's not, you follow all these people and they say it's based on a true story or based on true events or inspired by a true story. They've got all these little get out words.
mm-hmm,
And he was like, I didn't like it. I'd watched this story and then they made half of it up. And I was like, yeah, but we don't know what happened. So they've kind of, it's a film. So they're going to make up something. And they based a little bit on a dream,
mm-hmm,
a recurring dream that one of the relatives of somebody on board had about what happened to them.
mm-hmm,
And they used bits. So I thought it was done well. And you really cared about the men on the ship and all that. And I loved that. It depends in terms of a history film.
mm-hmm,
I don't care if, like, oh, the Titanic's Marconi room wasn't set up like it is in James Cameron's Titanic because
mm-hmm,
they changed it for the Olympic and the switches were 2 degrees to the left and this was on the port wall, not the starboard wall. I mean, I don't care. Like, okay, nice of you to pick it out, but I don't care. It doesn't ruin my enjoyment of the film. I think the difference with war films and following particular people is when you change things, you better have a damn good reason for changing it because it
mm-hmm,
irritates people. And you question, well, what have you changed that for? And because I understand the condensed things and sometimes the condensed characters and push scenes together because they can't show 8 months of you get like they couldn't show 2 years of me and you getting to know each other.
Mm.
They've just got to show
Mm-hmm.
this. They've got to show the stream type thing. So I kind of get that, but it depends how much you're willing to forgive
Mm.
and how much you'll let it ruin your enjoyment. I think the difference comes when it becomes insulting, where they change characters. There was a series on Anne Boleyn recently in the UK, and they changed Anne Boleyn and her background, and it made no sense for Tudor England. It's just bizarre. So it's so you've got to kind of, when it goes too far in that respect of like, this is a little bit unrealistic now. It depends what you want out of it, I suppose.
I think if you want to change something in a which is historically accurate, it needs to, I would need to say, add, because there are some things that are changed in some movies and they don't add anything. So I think it needs to add something as well. Let's see, what do the comments say? Mike Brown, I'm sorry, I saw your comment. Hi, Mike Brown. Good to see you, my friends. Welcome to the chat. Good to have you, Mike. So let's see, because we are running for 1 hour, Sean. It's incredible, isn't it? I thought like, oh god, how are we going to cover the stream? But there are many talking points.
Mate, you know I can talk. You invite me out to talk about films and history. I'm going to talk. You got to shut me up. You got to just, So yeah.
No, this is exactly the reason why I brought you to the stream, because I think everyone in the chat, the 7 people who are watching, by the way, 7 people, thank you so much for sticking around. I'm very happy to have you here. But everybody in the chat, please let me know if we should keep Sean or banish him from the channel. No, but I think that's why I'm bringing you on as well, Sean, for these future streams, because I think we have a very good chemistry when it comes to these things. What do we need to address as well?
So we did the accuracies, we did the inaccuracies. Did we get all the way to the end?
Well, let's see. Look at, I have so many
The
pages, guys.
inaccuracies.
3 pages. Let's see. Yes, here we go. So this brings me to the point of the air battle, which I was talking about in the final section. Dramatic flight sequences, and it's, whilst the flight sequences are very exciting, the aerial combat scenes are, and I love how it says, somewhat dramatized for cinematic effect. There you go. So the whole scene I was talking about, the final scene with Dick Best doing flying midair, stopping, falling down, I was like, that can't be accurate. If there is a pilot, which I don't know, that did that during the Battle of Midway, I will apologize, but that can't be accurate. So right. So one thing that is which I want to point out, and I think after that we can talk then about your scene, Sean, with the pilot sequences. One of the most interesting scenes. I think you agree then, Sean, with the pilot that you were talking about, the emotional part.
Yeah, I mean, it's a positive and also a bit of a backhanded one in that it is about the only emotional scene you get in it. To be honest, although there is another one where his wingman, the one we saw jump in the back on the gun, doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've done this without, like, I've done this with you, I need you. And the bit where he catches the gun and it burns his hands, I thought was pretty rough. I enjoyed that. Yeah, if you know what I mean.
Let's see. Can we talk about the mid-air stall 180 turn around in the trailer? Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let me find the screen. Excuse me, that scene. Sean, entertain him. Where are you?
Pretty performing monkey over here. Yeah, no, it is. It is. I mean, it's one of those things that I do. It reminds me, and I'm sorry I'm doing it again. Reminds me of Pearl Harbor, where they have, the chicken
Dear God,
sequences.
you do love Pearl Harbor,
Where I've ordered. Honestly, I told Jamie, right. I won't buy Midway on DVD because it's not. It hasn't reached that rank. But I've ordered the Blu-ray of Pearl Harbor. Like, I can't wait for that to get here. But it's like
should we review that for our next stream together, Sean?
I was hoping. Yeah, okay, yeah, all right, go on then. We'll do that. I was hoping to get that on my channel, but it's fine. No, for me, it's yeah,
double
do
the
both.
pleasure,
Sod it.
double the fun.
Pull, pull the ripcord. Yeah, for me, it is. It's like the chicken sequences in that where they go at each other and that kind of thing. But again, like the aerial sequences in Pearl Harbor are very much over exaggerated, like pilots going out there and shooting down on these planes. Because a lot of, I think a few American pilots got up at Pearl Harbor, but a few of them were shot down by friendly fire because obviously the Americans on the ground, anything that moved above them, they just shot at, as you would, because they weren't, So yeah, there's bits here and there that are over the top, but I suppose it depends what you want out of a film. I think we the early 2000s, the 90s, 2000s onwards, the last like quarter of a century. How old does that make us feel? Up until now, I think they've taken a step away from like that rigid facts. They've gone away from that to being more using an event to tell a story around and taking characters. They're very much the Titanic effect, if you will. I mean, I love Titanic. It's not a bad thing, but it's just the way that the films have gone. To the point now, I mean, I don't. Dunkirk 2017 was good. I personally,
And
I understand
that
why.
movie also got quite some heavy critiques, even though.
Yeah, because they didn't there's no characterization really. They were just men, and I got what they were doing. I really did, but at the same time, it was a little bit like, I think 1917 was a better film for having you follow these characters. But again, none of those two films holds a candle to the 2022.
What do
All
you
Quiet
think
on the
of the
Western Front.
movie? Sorry, what do you think of the movie All Side on the Silent Front? Have you seen that?
All Quiet on the Western Front. Yeah, the new one.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It was my favorite film of that year, and I've watched it back 9, 10, 11 times since, and it's a long film. I absolutely loved it, and obviously it's all subtitles as well. Obviously, you don't speak German, so it's incredible. It really is. It's unbelievable.
I'm trying to search the scene to look for the scene. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Herman.
Yeah. I found it. Right, everybody. This is the favorite scene of Herman Jarl. Notice. So let's do this. Right. Yeah. So the scene where what Herman Jarl is talking about. Let me see. Let's have you on the left, Sean. Oh no, let's have you. Yes.
To the left. To the left.
To the left. Don't tell me I messed up the scene.
Herman said, "I kind of liked that they were only random men." Yeah, okay, you got to be on about Dunkirk there. Yeah, I get
sorry,
what you mean.
I quickly want to apologize everybody for the scenes with the green screen showing. I promise you, I had a background, but it keeps for some reason fading away. I ask for forgiveness. Is it perhaps this one? No, it's not.
Don't worry, Jamie. It's absolutely fine. People are here for the opinions. That I mean, you've got a lovely face. Don't get me wrong, but I think you're all right. Don't worry. Yeah, when Herman was saying, if you want to keep looking, mate, Herman saying about.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go on, mate. Go on. If you found it, you go ahead. You go ahead, mate. You go.
So this is the scene where Herman was talking about. So I've played it in the utmost slowest frame, I think. Here we are. The stall in the air. This is a scene where you're talking about Herman, right?
Does he deploy the speed brakes? I don't know. I don't even know if they
he
had
just
speed
lets
brakes.
himself fall into the ground. There you go. Yeah, no, that
Oh,
can't
I've
be.
also got to point this out as well. I meant to point this out. They did say at one point, like, "Oh, it's a good job the Japanese say it's a good job the Americans have terrible planes." They
Mhm.
have terrible planes, these Zero fighters, and I think the
Mm,
Kato fighters that the Japanese had was some of the best fighters in the world at that time. Like better than the Spitfires, better than the Me 109s, you name it. These
yeah.
they could run you down. Um, so the fact that they have these US, and I don't know what they're called. Does anybody know? The US Navy, these planes we've got now. The fact that they show these being able to outrun a dogfight with Zeros, I'm like, really? I think there would have been I think it would have been like shooting fish in a barrel. But
Mm,
again, I don't know. I don't know. It just looked very unrealistic for me, like purely on a speed basis. But again, I'm
mm,
not an aviation expert. I'm just going off the little bits I've read here and there.
mm,
Um, I don't know. Does anybody know? But yes, Herman, it's America, so you know.
America, hell yeah.
Coming again, the same the day, yeah.
So do you think with this? Because I think we will. I'm reaching to the conclusion of the script because we have talked about. We are running now almost for 2 hours. You need to take your rest as well. Um, so in conclusion, while the Midway movie is an exciting, that's for sure, when it comes to visualing and impressive film, it does take liberties with historical details for dramatic effect. That's a fact. Despite these inaccuracies, it serves as a respectful homage to the brave individuals who fought in this pivotal battle of World War II. Do you agree with that statement, Sean?
Uh, um, uh, okay. I'm not as impressed by it, frankly. I think it's it's a gung ho
Mm,
action film, all American affair. Even though a lot of the actors are actually British
mm,
and Welsh and Irish,
mm,
but don't worry about it. Um, very much like Band of Brothers. Excuse me, but yeah, it's an enjoyable film, but you know, there's a lot going on. The script's really poor,
mm,
but you know, it's a good waste of a couple of hours. You'll enjoy the battle scenes. It might make you want to go and find, and I did the same. I went and looked at some of the real people in it. Um, but overall, it's a very paint by numbers affair that really doesn't live up to the promise of the story. Like I don't feel it brings anything new to the table.
mm,
Frankly,
mm,
it's nice to see them look more at that aspect of the World War, but I feel like it very much plays it safe, and I was disappointed in it as a whole. To be honest, I did
mm,
enjoy it, but I feel if it didn't have all those great actors in it, it would have just been a very, very forgetful, probably straight to
mm,
streaming or straight to DVD affair,
mm,
frankly. But I mean, if anyone loves it, great. But it didn't amaze me. That's all I can say. I did enjoy it. I had a good time with it. It wasn't,
mm,
you know, but I did have to get over the first 20 or 30 minutes until you get into kind of the action, and I was like, okay, I'm with it now. I know what this is.
mm. I think for me personally, before we started this stream, I was saying like it's my favorite movie, my top best. But after this stream and after so many of your wonderful comments or opinions in the chat, everybody, thank you so much. It made me realize that there are some historical inaccuracies, and you make me see some points I didn't see. So I'm thankful for that. Herman Jal on recommending Norwegian war films Quisling last day. Quisling, I wanted to see the movie Quisling, Herman, but I can't play it for some reason here in the Netherlands. So I don't know if it's already streamable or if it's on a different thing or different side. I can't see it either in the Netherlands, but let me know. Um, there's much CGI which draws you into the movie. I think that this is a good entry of getting people to know Midway, though. And I think that after this movie, like many people, like myself, like I did, I hope that people will get books and learn more about this historical chapter, an important chapter of the war. Um, I hope that will happen. So I'm losing words. I'm getting tired. Um, Sean, was there anything else you wanted to add to the stream? Or I have no, sorry, I have a question though. Because we're always running on 2 hours. Sean, what
Hmm.
if they continue to make historical movies like this with battles? What do you think they will keep in mind, and what do you think? What do you hope to see in future movies?
I hope we go back to much more of a mix of practical and CGI,
Mm-hmm.
because that's like Peter said earlier. It is the generational differences. Like you say, oh, CGI immerses you in it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't find CGI immersive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to a point, I think it needs to be used to enhance and extend, but it shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
the creative like bedrock. But I
Mm-hmm.
understand, you'll have been, I don't know, 5 or 6 when Iron Man came out. So I understand how, like, if you grow up and you're brought up on 2000s films and 2010 films onwards, that you're going to be more used to CGI.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I was brought up on, practical films, the films of the 90s and the films of the early 2000s, where the CGI just wasn't at a point where they could do that. It just wasn't good enough. So, like, a film that I would say, like, anchors my childhood, apart from Batman and Robin, is, like, The Mummy, the
Mm-hmm.
1999 Mummy. And that, yes, that's just CGI, but overall, a lot of it is practical. Majority of it's practical. It's a hell of a story. The characters are great. The music, is just exquisite. You talk about soundtracks, Jamie. Oh my god.
The King
For The
the
Mummy.
oh the moment,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jerry Goldsmith, who also did, oh, he's done all sorts. He did the theme for Star Trek, Voyager. Oh,
Mm.
just unbelievable composer. So yeah, I think it depends. I would like them. Sorry to answer your question. I'd like them to go back to
The
smaller
originals.
cast. No, I just want smaller cast. Um, I don't mind them going for lesser known stories. I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind them going. I don't know. You want to follow an Indian brigade in the First World War? Fine,
Mm-hmm.
no bother.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to have good characters. You can't just have a great idea and then go, "You'll come and watch this, won't you?" No, you need to put in the effort. You need to put in
Mm-hmm.
the groundwork to give us. But overall, I would like a much more of a return of that traditional essence of a couple of people. A Guns of Navarone. I know that's fictional.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a Guns of Navarone type thing, and go that way and really like go down that route, and just well written is all I'm trying. Well written, because that's what really drops this film for me is the writing. It's really lazy. Like, they use a lot of shortcuts,
Mm-hmm.
and they say things rather than let you work them out, and it's like, oh, they're going to use them as a bomb. Yeah, I've gathered, given that they're screaming and driving, like, flying right at your boat. It's not a mystery, mate. I don't need, and it feels insulting. There's quite a few lines like that pull you right out of it as an
Yeah,
audience member, but it's not dreadful.
I understand.
But yeah,
I
that's my
understand.
thoughts on it.
Well, everybody, I think that wraps up 2 hours of us talking about the movie and geeking out and giving our opinions or thoughts. And I had a great time. I hope you guys had a great time in the chat as well. I certainly have. Certainly have. I certainly have. I had an amazing time tonight, everybody, and I'm happy that streams are getting back again because again, the last stream was like a half a year ago. But I miss this kind of thing. So I'm so glad that so many of you were here with me. I'm extremely thankful for you all, and I want to take this moment quickly as well as for thanking you all for um, watching the channel. We've reached 5,000 subscribers, and I know I said it in a post um, that. That I said thank you, but I wanted to say it in the stream as well because I really mean it. Without any of you guys, I wouldn't be here. Without Sean, I wouldn't be here. Without any of you guys in the chat, I wouldn't be here. For the people watching this later on, I wouldn't be here without you all. And I'm so thankful that we get to have these streams, geek out about movies, and having a good time. So I'm very thankful for you all. Sean, let them know where people can find you. What are some future projects you're working on? What are some future live streams? So show us, tell us.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm Sean. I'm I was going to say that I created, host, review it yourself, a film podcast primarily, but we do look at obviously historical, particularly Titanic. If you're interested in, there's quite a few Titanic things on there. I was lucky enough to talk to an explorer about his short film he did called The Last Signals about Titanic. So you can go check that out. Thomas was brilliant. There's that podcast episode wherever you get your podcasts. It's not on YouTube. I also had the great honor of discussing Jay Bruce Ismay, the owner of the White Star Line that owned the Titanic, the guy who gets on a lifeboat and saves himself and who gets vilified afterwards with his with a relative of his family so many times removed. An author, Clifford Ismay, who wrote a book about Jay Bruce Ismay, the man they called the Coward of Titanic, and we discussed the portrayal of Jay Bruce Ismay in films throughout the years and how that's changed. So I'm very, very proud of that one. Me and Jamie have done episodes on the Ocean Gate Titan submersible. There's 3 of those to go and find out on the new Netflix documentary. We've also done a couple of films together. Upcoming, we've got. I mean, I don't know if it's not very well known here, let alone anywhere else. But we've got a series on Garth Marenghi's Dark Place coming. We're going to be reviewing Battle Los Angeles, the 2011. That comes out on Sunday. Blade, the original 1998 film with Wesley Snipes, unbelievable. Probably one of the most founding Marvel films before Marvel became. Anyway. We've got a review of Fantastic Bloodlines coming out. Eight-Legged Freaks, the kind of B movie from 2002 with David Arquette, aka Dewey from Scream. And a very, very young Scarlett Johansson. Well, I think she's like 16, 17 in it, but she was an unknown at that point. There's also going to be it's from a live stream a couple of years ago that I've put up as a podcast about Doctor Who Series 4, David Tennant's last series, with Catherine Tate that's going to be coming up, and there's absolutely all sorts. I mean, that's what I've got coming out in the next month, but there's always plenty of plans to do, and there's just that many films. But yeah, it's a podcast. It's me, my co-host Sarah, or me and somebody else, a special guest like Jamie, and we'll discuss a film or a documentary or a TV series, and it's basically just like what you've seen here, except without the script and without the research, where basically I just start talking and don't shut up. But yeah, it's all good. Thanks. But yeah, go over and check that out. It's wherever you get your podcasts. So Apple, Spotify, where it's hosted by Acast. So yeah. And I'm also on Instagram. It's Review It Yourself Podcast 2021. And I'm also on X or Twitter. It's at Yourself Review. And I don't usually sound like this because I'm losing my voice.
Dying.
Dying. No, I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, check us out there. My YouTube channel doesn't have any content on them because we wanted to have it's a podcast that it was never made to be a YouTube channel. Really, I just tried it out for a year and I thought nah. So yeah, go find us wherever you do and reach out. I look forward to Herman's list of Norwegian films that he sent me on Instagram. So thank you very much for that. Can't wait to check some of those out. So thank you very much. But it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be on. And I forget you're an hour ahead. I was thinking you get tired. It's only 9 o'clock, but it's 10 o'clock for you, of course, because you're on the continent.
I might head out later for maybe a drink at my restaurant, but who knows? Who knows?
See, but you Europeans, you go out a lot later. I noticed this when I went to Italy, when I went to France, when I went to Belgium. Like for us, our like evening meals like 5, 6 o'clock, 7 at a push. The Europeans like it's 8, 9, 10 p.m. Let's go for a meal. The
No,
British are like,
no,
no, the heartburn, the heartburn.
no, no, no. It's because my main job with my parents, we run a restaurant, and of course, me being the son of the owner, sometimes I just go for a drink or
Ah,
hang out with my workers, with my No, just joking. Uh, no, but all jokes aside, it was amazing having you on for a live stream again, Sean, and I hope you all agree that Sean will come back for sure in future live streams because it's a pleasure having him on, and I love. He's a perfect co-host for stuff like this. Um, we need to decide still which movie we need to review next, but I will let you choose this one because
I thought I thought we were doing Greyhound because wasn't
well,
it this one then Greyhound? I think.
how it Peter Peter how Italian, yeah. Peter, are you with your last name? Are you Italian as well? Are you Italian as well, Peter?
Prego. I don't know, I
Prego,
was just trying.
per
That's
favore,
all I know.
un vino per favore. Un vino con una buona pizza, per favore. A little bit Italian for you. But
Je
no,
parle un peu français.
we'll let you know for sure which new movie review will be our next. Which movie we will talk about in our. Oh, you are Italian. Damn, Peter. We are countrymen. we are countrymen. We are brothers. No, but like I said, for the next because I'm
Knackered.
not knackered, but I'm going all over this all over this with the stream. Again, we will let you know which movie we will talk about in the next stream. Thank you all so very much for watching. And be sure to check out the future content as well. I have some amazing things planned, which are in the works, which I'm very excited to show you all. For example, the video vlog I did a few weeks back now on the British Museum steamship Shield Hall. We are working hard on that video. And it's gonna be a long one, so I hope you guys will enjoy it. With this live stream, I think I will also make a video format of the live stream so people can watch it on the channel in their free time and easily that it's easy accessible. I will leave links to the main socials of Sean, of course, as well. And thank you all so very much for joining me in the chat. It was amazing to have you all here, and we will leave you now. Everybody, it's been your friend Jamie from Old Shipping Lines. Thank you again so much, and it's been Sean, and we will see you on the next live stream. Have a good evening, everybody. See ya.
Good night, everyone. Good night.